All right, good day, good day. So that was where we camped last night. Nice flat spot, worked perfectly. The ground was very soft, easy to get the stakes in. Trails over that way. I had to kind of look hard to find this spot because over here there were a lot of branches, so it was kind of far away. But I decided to walk over and see if it would work. So where is the trail here? Where's the trail here, really? Ah, yes, it's over here. Over here, Riley. Yes. So we are back on the trail now, continuing this way. Yeah, so that's over there. That's where we camped. Today is Thursday, August 15th. Day number 105 of our through hike. August 15th is a date that sticks in my memory because when I was in high school and I played sports in high school, August 15th was always the standard day that, hold up buddy, that people that played fall sports would need to report back for either tryouts, if the sport had tryouts, or the first day of practice. And I ran cross country in the fall, and there were no tryouts, and anyone who wanted to run was allowed to run. So August 15th was always the first day where we needed to come back for some organized practice prior to the start of school, which was usually closer to the end of August. And I always kind of slightly dreaded that date because it meant the unofficial end of summer, and having to do hard practices for cross country. But it wasn't all bad. I mean, it was, once I got back into the routine, it's good to have a routine, and it was cool seeing my other classmates and other teammates, and getting to socialize with them more. So it wasn't all bad, but that date was just always on my mind, like the entire summer. And as we would get closer to it, I would start to get more and more apprehensive, I guess. Kind of similar to the start of school. Mr. Riley, all right, he's doing fine behind me. But now I'm an adult and I don't go to high school anymore, and so August 15th carries no special significance anymore, other than the memory of those 4 years when it did carry a very relevant significance. So like I said, today's day number 105. We got in super late to camp last night. Got to bed probably a little after 3:30 a.m. So this morning I was in no hurry to get up. I was quite content to sleep in and let Riley sleep in and catch up on our rest. And so as usual, I have not looked at the time. The sun's way up there above the trees. So at least we're hiking. At least we got through the night. We got to a campsite. I was spending a lot of time looking for campsites as we were hiking last night. And I kept saying to myself, this trail is ridiculous. Why are there no campsites? Riley, come on, buddy. But when I'm in those circumstances and I eventually find a place to camp, it makes it feel all that much better. just makes me feel so much happier when I eventually find a campsite after I've had some difficulty finding one for a while. Interesting how that works out. It's kind of like the trail itself. Like the trail forces you to give up various conveniences, many conveniences that you're used to, and it makes it more difficult on you in that sense. But at the same time, as part of giving up all those conveniences, that carries its own rewards as well. It makes you more appreciative. It makes you more thankful in various ways. It makes you more excited when you have things go your way and are able to focus in on the things that really matter, like eating good food and getting good rest and being comfortable in general. Yeah, so my point there is just the micro act of having trouble finding a campsite and then finding a campsite, and the really cool feeling that you get when you eventually find the campsite. It's just one example of how the trail can make you feel good. Not all the time, but in certain times it definitely gives you a nice high feeling. So, a couple thoughts in my mind. There were a couple things I had mentioned in a couple days videos ago. Like one thing I mentioned was the Dover oak tree, which is the largest oak tree as measured by its girth on the entire Appalachian Trail. And I mentioned when I passed West Dover Road, there's a tree on the north side of that road. And I said when I was filming it that I was like, that's a really big tree, but I think the actual Dover oak is a little further on. And I never saw another tree that was further on that looked as big as that tree, so I'm pretty sure that the actual Dover oak was that tree that I filmed, which was just on the other side of that road, West Dover Road, back in New York. And then another thing I mentioned a couple days ago was when I passed by the Pauling, New York AT railroad stop, and there was that turnoff to hike into Tony's Deli for people that wanted to do that. It was like a 0.6 mile walk off trail. I didn't go there, but as I was hiking on, I hiked through some fields, and then there's this wooden structure off to our left, and I was like, I don't know what that is. But some southbound hikers had mentioned to me that something cool is coming up, so I was kind of on the lookout. Anyway, I looked in my guidebook at that location, and I figured out what it is. So it's a wooden water tower, and I know that because the guidebook mentions wooden water tower at that exact location, so that must be what it is. I guess wooden water towers are rare because wood is not generally not thought of as a waterproof material. So I would think most modern water towers are probably made of metal. So clearly that water tower is an old structure. But just wanted to circle back on that and mention that I resolved the question that I had in that day's video. Alright, so we gotta go up here now. Riley. Oh no, we gotta go here. Good call, Riley. I was about to go the other way, and Riley was like, nope, we're going this way, and he's right. There was a double white blaze on that tree that I just glanced at, and the top white blaze was on the left side, indicating that we should do a left turn. And this actually would have worked as a campsite if we had gotten down this far, but so had we not found the campsite previously, I'm sure I would have seen that and we would have stayed there last night. All right, so I think that's all for now. It's good that we're getting the day started. It's good that Riley's moving with good energy. He was very tired last night. I think he was mostly tired out from our trek to get into Kent, because we were moving very fast and we weren't taking a lot of breaks, and it was hot. So I think that was the most stressful on him. So I'm glad to see that he's doing well today. And today will be a more relaxed day since we don't have any time constraints. We'll just try to get a full day in, take whatever breaks we need. And of course it would be nice to get to bed earlier tonight. All right, so we have reached a viewpoint here. It's got a name to it. It's called Caleb's Peak. There's a sign right back there on the tree. Kind of warm out here since we're all exposed in the sun in this view spot. So I'm like, Riley, we should get moving so we can get back in the shade. But he doesn't seem too concerned with the sunlight. This was actually, if we had left Kent earlier, I was thinking that this would be a potential spot that we could have tried to get to try to find a campsite. And the reason for that is when I did my 2018 hike, and I mentioned I stayed at the same shelter, Wiley Shelter, that we stayed at a couple nights ago. On that hike, I also hiked into Kent, and went to the grocery store. But that year, I wasn't filming anything with YouTube, and I didn't have a Kindle, and basically I just had my phone, so I didn't have to worry about charging stuff very much. And so I was able to get out and get back on trail in the early evening, I think. And I was able to hike after I got back on trail up to Caleb's Peak. And I remember I camped up here. There was a campsite that I stayed at. I don't see it right now. There was a potential campsite just before we got to the peak, so that may have been where I stayed. And I was thinking yesterday that would have been a place that we could have camped if we had not found a campsite before then. But that would have been hiking like about a little over 4 miles out of Kent. And given that we started after midnight, that would have been way too far. Only something we wouldn't do if we absolutely were not able to find any other spots before then. All right, so that's Caleb's Peak. So Riley just pointed out a toad. Look at that boy. That boy is beautiful. I know, such a beautiful boy. I guess that's I don't know the difference between a toad and a frog, but it's either a toad or a frog. Hold up, buddy. At least it's not a porcupine. That's a big one. I've actually been seeing lots of small, very tiny frog-like creatures that happen to be on the trail, and when I am walking up to them and they sense me, they leap off the trail, and that's, I wouldn't see them if not for them leaping off the trail. But it happens so quickly that I don't have my camera out and I'm not able to get any footage of it. And they're so small that if I tried to get my camera out afterward, I would have a hard time finding them. But that was the biggest frog or toad that I've seen in a while. It's nice that Riley just is curious about it and doesn't try to eat it or harm it in any way. So Riley and I are continuing on here. There's something called St. John's Ledges. It was in my guidebook, and there's a sign there. But apparently, it's not directly on the trail. You have to walk down the side trail. I can already imagine what it is. It's probably just walking to like the very edge of the mountain, and there's probably some rock slabs that are angled, and they're called ledges. And I'm fine with not going out and checking it out. It's steep enough down that it seems like it would be a hard hike back up. I mean, I might just get over here and peer. Yeah, I mean, anyway, St. John's Ledges, we're gonna pass by it. We're gonna keep on hiking on the AT. We will be perfectly fine without seeing St. John's Ledges up close. We have plenty of good views. Plenty of good views through the trees here. And we are already working hard enough with all the walking that we're doing. That we don't need to add additional stress. All right. I'm definitely in a feel like I'm in a decently good mood today, and I'm definitely pleased with all the food that I was able to eat yesterday. It tasted super good. My belly's full. My belly's happy. The 6 donuts for dessert were just so nice. I really enjoyed being able to just eat them one by one, slowly, and really enjoy each one and not have to rush through it. That's one of the observations that I had when, I may have mentioned it before, but Riley, slow down. Riley, hold up, buddy. Hold up, Riley. Riley, hey. Yeah, one of the observations I've had when I've gone to a hostel before, such as like Woods Hole Hostel, where they had, I didn't share the meal there, but they made an excellent dinner and breakfast, absolutely first class. They made, for dinner, they made a tikka masala sauce with Indian rice. And that was just part of the dinner. They had a beautiful salad that they made and homemade bread. Everything was homemade. Absolutely wonderful. And then, of course, the Mountain Harbor breakfast, which I did show on camera. And that was all homemade as well. So one of the observations after going to those places is that the food was excellent, but it was all like communal eating. So we were eating with other people, and it just seemed like everybody ate so fast. Like everyone was basically done in like a half an hour. And since it's communal, like once everybody starts to like finish up, then if you're still eating, you're like the only one there. And that can feel awkward. Yeah, this is a pretty steep climb down, so take it one safe, slow step at a time. Come on, Riley. Definitely good to have Riley behind me here. Yeah, so I just felt like in going to this... Riley, hold up, buddy. Hold up. I know. Hold up, buddy. Hold up, Riley. Yeah, and going to those places, I just felt rushed when I was enjoying the food. And that definitely makes it harder to enjoy the food. I really... Even though I do like to eat a lot and I have a really big appetite, I don't like to rush it. I like to take my time with it, and I'm happy eating a large amount of food over a 2-hour plus time span, and just savoring it a whole lot. So when I go to the grocery stores in towns, hold up, buddy, and I just buy whatever food is like on sale and I'm in the mood for, and then I can rather eat it by myself, like I was able to do in the post office last night. Then sure, I'm by myself, but I'm with Riley, got good company, and I can take as much time with it as I want and make sure that I enjoy it, which is certainly one of the important things about eating, is to try to enjoy it. So that's all for now. We're getting down this climb here. Hold up, buddy. Hold up, Riley. Hold up, buddy. Come on, Riley. Good boy. Good boy, Riley. Hold up, buddy. This is a steep climb. All right, I'm not going to film the rest of it. I gotta conserve my battery, but you guys get the idea. This is a steep climb. It's hard. It would be hard going up. And it's hard going down, but one step at a time. So we were walking with this guy earlier who caught up to us shortly after we stopped to take a break. And he was a pretty nice guy. He was a guy that lives around here and was just out for some exercise. And he walked with us for like maybe a little over 2 miles. And Riley was super energized while he was walking. But then he turned around a little while ago and went back to where he lives. So Riley hasn't been so energized ever since he left. We've taken like a couple breaks since then, and I let Riley rest, and I gave him food and water, and he just keeps stopping, and he just keeps looking back. So I feel like I just gotta I feel like Riley's fine to keep moving. You're fine to keep moving, dude. You're fine. But I feel like I just need to encourage him with a little force, and he'll forget about him eventually. But as of now, he still remembers him. Oh, there's more people here. Finally. Oh my goodness. All right, so this will motivate Riley to get going.
By the way, the trail has been very flat. This is a very flat stretch, which I remember from our 2018 hike. And this right here is I believe it's the Housatonic River. Riley is so excited. Hello. So Riley and I are finishing up another break. That those other hikers that were approaching us the last time that I had the camera turned on, Riley and I hiked with them for a little bit. Basically the rest of this flats section along the Housatonic, and then they continued. There's a parking lot out that way, so they continued out to their car. And we're about to, so we're pretty much finished with this flat section, and now we have a big climb, and it's basically a lot of climbs and descents pretty much the rest of the day for at least the next seven miles or so. We've done about 7 miles on the day, and there's a shelter about 7.5 miles from here called Pine Swamp Shelter, I believe, which could be a good destination, but like everything, we'll see what the daylight situation looks like. And I just got out my my payday bar. This was one of the surprises that that I found in my box yesterday at the post office. So it was a surprise for my I think it's from my mom, but it could be from my dad. I don't know. It's from either both of them or one of them, but I kind of want to save it, but I kind of want to eat it now. It's a king size. Whenever I eat it, it's going to be awesome. So, peanut caramel bar. It looks so beautiful. So beautiful. All right, Mr. Riley. We're going to be continuing on soon. Oh, Mr. Riley. All right. I have worked up a good sweat. It is getting close to 7 o'clock. It might already be past 7 o'clock. We just got to a little view spot. I'm getting thirsty. So nice view here. We're getting close to closing the book, or turning the page, I guess, on another day. I checked far out a little while ago when we got close to a stream, just to see where we were at and see what the upcoming water sources are, to see if I needed to fill up on water there. And it was like 6:23 when I turned my phone on to check my app, and we had gone 9.6 miles at that point on the day. And the shelter that I mentioned, I think it's called Pine Swamp Shelter, was exactly 5 miles ahead of us at that point. So, and we've been hiking for a little bit since then, so I feel like we've probably done like a mile or so. That's just an estimate. But yeah, getting to that shelter is definitely possible. So I feel like that's our target tonight. We'll probably have to do some night hiking or dark hiking to get there. But that's okay. Riley, we should continue on. Come on, buddy. It's like I walk and it's like there's just a pile of bricks holding me back. Okay, Riley. Oh, buddy. Riley, where are you going, man? You're taking us like, I don't know where you're taking us, Riley. Wherever your nose leads, Riley. So I've not seen any northbound through hikers today. We just saw those two well, the first day hiker that was going north with us and then turned around, and then there's two other day hikers / section hikers that were they actually hiked from Kent today to the parking area that they got off at, and did about 10 miles today. Their names were Bill and Tom, and I was actually talking with them I was talking with Bill, I think, for a little bit of the hike, and he mentioned that he and his college guys, I think he's like in his 60s now or so, but he still keeps in touch with friends from college, and he said every year they go hiking out in the Sierras out in California in a place called the Immigrant Wilderness area. And so he said he's going to be going out in a few weeks to do that, and to prepare for it, he and his buddy Tom, I guess, Bill and Tom, they do like 10-mile sections in Connecticut near where they live on the AT. So it was cool chatting with them. Then I saw a southbound hiker named Hey Jude. We chatted for a little bit, and we're very friendly with one another. He wished me early congratulations on completing the hike, and I guess he didn't exactly say that, but he was like, you got it, you're gonna do it. So he was full of encouragement, and I reciprocated by wishing him the best on the rest of his southbound hike. But he mentioned something. He mentioned that he's done a good bit of hiking in Virginia, and he mentioned that, I guess this is part of why he was saying that he was confident that we would be able to complete the hike. Because he was saying, like, if you've come this far, like, there's no reason you can't do the rest of the trail. And then he was also saying that from his experience in hiking Virginia, he felt like hiking through the Mount Rogers National Recreation Area, which starts in around Damascus and continues up to like where the Grayson Highlands State Park is, I believe. And it includes Mount Rogers, which is the highest elevation point in the state of Virginia. He mentioned that he felt like that area was very similar to his experience hiking through the White Mountains. And that was very interesting to me, because I remember distinctly when I was hiking through that area, I mentioned in my video for one of the days that I was getting memories of the White Mountains. I felt like the vegetation that was there reminded me of the alpine zones in the White Mountains area, and I felt like a kind of a cool crispness and quietness to the air that I remember being characteristic of the White Mountains area. So I just thought it was very interesting that he also drew that comparison and that recognized that similarity between those two areas without my mentioning it first. He just brought it up out of thin air, so to speak. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Riley is making slow and steady progress, making sure to sniff everything he can. Riley is definitely not one to avoid stopping to smell the roses as part of doing this hike. So we are continuing to make progress. I'm a little apprehensive about hiking in the dark because I don't particularly enjoy it. But we'll be fine. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. At least it's not raining, I guess. So I did eat my payday bar. It was absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. It's might be my second favorite candy bar. I like Snickers a lot. I think I've always had Snickers as my favorite candy bar, with the chocolate and the nougat and the caramel and the peanuts. Man, Riley just takes so much time. He takes so much time. And he pees like so many times. He pees because you just gotta leave his mark. Anyway, so I was saying that Snickers I think is my favorite, but Payday is very good as well. Man, you take so much time, Riley. You take so much time. Oh my goodness. I'm starting to lose my patience. Yeah, so Payday, it's as I'm sure many people know, it's peanuts packed together with caramel, and I think it's got like this peanut butter base on the inside, and it's very sweet, but it's also got a nice touch of saltiness, and yeah, it's a very, very delicious. So that was definitely a highlight of my day today. All right, good evening. Just want to close out the day here. Van Gogh and Riley are at the shelter that I mentioned earlier. So it's called Pine Swamp Brook Shelter. And we appear to be the only ones here tonight. We're certainly the only ones in the shelter, and I don't see any. There could be people that are tenting at the tent sites, but because the tent sites are a little far away from here, but haven't seen any signs of anybody else here. And it is kind of late. It's like just past 11 o'clock now, 11:02. We did get here probably about 45 minutes ago, and I went down to the water source. It's called Pine Swamp Brook Shelter because the water source here is called Pine Swamp Brook. And it was a good 0.2 mile walk down to the brook to get water, and then back up. I left Riley in the shelter here attached to my pack while I went to get water. I actually stayed here in 2018. I remember, I didn't realize that before we got here, but now that I'm here, I do remember staying here in 2018. I actually came here, I think I got here late in the evening that day, and the shelter was already full, and I would have stayed in the shelter if there was room, but there wasn't room, so I walked down to find one of the tent sites and set my tent up back in 2018. But tonight, Riley and I have the whole shelter to ourselves. Yeah, we walked the last couple miles in the dark, but we got here. Riley is tired. We took several breaks today, which is good. We should take breaks. But it did slow us down, and it was part of the reason that we didn't get here until after dark. But at least we got here. It was definitely a nicer to be walking in the evening when I knew that our destination was a shelter, as opposed to when I didn't really know what our destination was, because I didn't have to spend time like scanning the side of the trail looking for campsites. I was just able to focus on hiking, and I knew that eventually we would do the necessary distance and we would get to the shelter. So it's good that we're here. And like I said, it's just past 11 o'clock, so we should be getting to bed soon. The mileage here is 1490.4 according to Far Out, so that means we started the day at 1475.8. So that means we hiked a total of 14.6 miles today. Alright, so I'm feeling tired, so looking forward to getting a good sleep tonight. And I will say goodnight. As always, I hope anyone who's watching this, I hope you're doing well. And Riley and I will check in tomorrow for day 106, on Friday, August 16th. Okay, bye for now.